ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायण नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवतसेवया भगवति उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. So we will read. Do let me know if you see the screen.
Yes, Prabhuji. Appearance of divine Ritas.
Okay, nice. Okay, reading Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 9, Appearance of the Demon Vritasura. Vritrasura. Shri Sukha Uvacha Tasyasan Vishwarupasya Shriramsi Trini Bharata Somapitam Surapitam Annadam Iti Sushruma. Sri Sukadeva Goswami continued. Vishwarupa, who was engaged as the priest of the demigods, had three heads. He used one to drink the beverage Somarasa, another to drink wine, and the third to eat food. O King Parikshit, thus I have heard from authorities. Savai barhishi devabhyo bhagam pratyaksham uchchakaihi adadat yasya pitaro deva saprashaya nripa. O Maharaj Parikshit, the demigods were related to Vishwarupa from his father's side, and therefore he visibly offered clarified butter in the fire while chanting mantras such as Indraya Idam Swaha. This is meant for King Indra, and Idam Agnaye. This is for the demigod of fire. He loudly chanted these mantras and offered each of the demigods his proper share. स एव हि ददौ भागं परोक्षम् असुरान् प्रति यजमानो अवहत् भागं मातृस्नेह विसानुगः. Although offering clarified butter in the sacrificial fire in the name of the demigods, without the knowledge of the demigods, he also offered oblations to the demons because they were his relatives through his mother. तद्देव हेळनं तस्य धर्मालिकं सुरेश्वरः आलक्ष्य तरसा भीतश्चत् शीर्षाणि अचिनदृशा. Once upon a time, however, the king of heaven, Indra, understood that Vishwarupa was secretly cheating the demigods by offering oblations on behalf of the demons. He became extremely afraid of being defeated by the demons, and in great anger at Vishwarupa, he cut Vishwarupa's three heads from his shoulders. सोमपीतं तु यत्तस्य शिरा आसीत् कपिञ्जलः कलविङ्कः सुरापीतम् अन्नादं यत् स तित्थिरिः. Thereafter, the head meant for drinking somarasa was transformed into a kapinjala, a francolin partridge. Similarly, the head meant for drinking wine was transformed into kalavinka, sparrow, and the head meant for eating food became tittiri, common partridge. ब्रह्महत्याम् अञ्जलिना जग्राह यद् अपीश्वरः संवत्सरान्ते तद् अघं भूतानं स विशुद्धये भूम्यम्बो द्रुम योषिद्भ्यस् Chaturdha Vyabhajadharihi. Although Indra was so powerful that he could neutralize the sinful reactions for killing a Brahmana, he repentantly accepted the burden of these reactions with folded hands. He suffered for 1 year, and then, to purify himself, he distributed the reactions of this sinful killing among the earth, water, trees, and women. भूमिस्तु तुरीयं जग्राह खातापुर वरेण वै ईरिणं ब्रह्महत्याय रूपं भूमौ प्रदृश्यते. In return for King Indra's benediction that ditches in earth would be filled automatically, the land accepted one fourth of the sinful reactions for killing a Brahmana. Because of those sinful reactions, we find many deserts on the surface of the earth. Turyam cheda virohena varena jagrur drumaha tesham niryasa rupena brahmatya pradashyate. In return for Indra's benediction that their branches and twigs would grow back when trimmed, the trees accepted one fourth of the reactions for killing a Brahmana. These reactions are visible in flowing of sap from trees. Therefore, one is forbidden to drink this sap. Sasvat kama varena has तुरीयं जग्रु स्त्रियः रजोरूपेण तस्वमहो मासी मासी प्रदर्श्यते. In return for Lord Indra's benediction that they would be able to enjoy lusty desires continuously even during pregnancy for as long as sex is not injurious to the embryo, women accepted one fourth of the sinful reactions. As a result of those reactions, women manifest the signs of menstruation every month. Dravya bhuyo parenapas turiyam jagrurmalam tasu buddha फेनाभ्याम दृष्टम तद धरति क्षिपन in return in return for King Indra's benediction that water would increase the volume of other substances with which it was mixed. Water accepted one fourth of the sinful reactions. Therefore, that there are bubbles and foam in water. When one collects water, they should be avoided. These should be avoided. हतः पुत्रस्ततस्त्वष्टा जुहावेन्द्राय सत्रवे इन्द्रसत्रो विवर्धस्व मा चिरं जहि विद्विषम्. After Vishwarupa was killed, his father Tvashta performed ritualistic ceremonies to kill Indra. He offered oblations in the sacrificial fire, saying, O enemy of Indra, flourish to kill your enemy without delay. अथान्वाहार्य पचनात् उत्थितो घोरदर्शनः कृतान्त इव लोकानां युगान्त समये यथा. Thereafter, from the southern side of the sacrificial fire, known as Anvaharya, came a fearful personality who looked like the destroyer of the entire creation at the end of the millennium. विश्वविवर्धना विवर्धमानं तं इषुमात्रं दिने दिने दग्धा शैल प्रतीकाशं सन्ध्याभ्राणीकवर्चसं तप्तताम्र शिखास्मर्शुं मध्याह्नाकोग्रलोचनं देदीप्यमाने त्रिशिखे शूल आरोप्य रोदसी न्यन्तं न्यन्तम् उन्नदन्तं च चालयन्तं पदामहीं धरे गम्भीरवक्त्रेण पिबता च नभस्थलं लिहता जिह्वयर्काश sorry लिहता जिह्वार्काक्षानि ग्रसता भुवनत्रयं महता रौद्रं दंष्ट्रेण जृम्भमाणं मुहुर्मुहुः. वित्रास्ता दुद्रुवुर्लोका वीक्षा सर्वे दिशो दश. Like arrows released in the four directions, the demon's body grew day after day. Tall and blackish, he appeared like a burnt hill and was as lustrous as a bright array of clouds in the evening. The hair on the demon's body and his beard and mustache were the color of melted copper, and his eyes were piercing like the midday sun. He appeared unconquerable, as if holding the three worlds on the points of his blazing trident. Dancing and shouting with a loud voice, he made the entire surface of the earth tremble as if from an earthquake. As he yawned again and again, he seemed to be trying to swallow the whole sky with his mouth, which was as deep as a cave. He seemed to be licking up all the stars in the sky with his tongue and eating the entire universe with his long, sharp teeth. Seeing this gigantic demon, everyone in great fear ran here and there in all directions. येनावृता इमे लोकास् तपसा त्वाष्ट्रमूर्तिना सवैवृत इति प्रोक्तः पापः परम दारुणः. That very fearful demon, who was actually the son of Tvashta, covered all the planetary systems by dint of austerity. Therefore, he was named Vritra, or one who covers everything. Tam nijagnur abhidrutya sagana विबुदर्शभाः स्वै स्वै दिव्यास्त्र शस्त्रौघैः सोऽगस्तानि कृष्णशः. The demigods, headed by Indra, charged the demon with their soldiers, striking him with their own transcendental bows and arrows and other weapons, but Vritrasura swallowed all their weapons. ततस्ते विस्मिताः सर्वे विषन्नग्रस्ततेजसः प्रत्यञ्चम् आदिपुरुषम् उपतस्तुं समाहिताः. Struck with wonder and disappointment upon seeing the strength of the demon, the demigods lost their own strength. Therefore, they all met together to try to please the super soul, the supreme personality of Godhead Narayana, by worshipping him. Shri Deva Uchuhu Vahya Ambarangi Apkshitayastriloka Brahmadayo ye Vayam Udvijantaha Harama Yasmai Balim Antakahso Vibheti Yasmad Aranam Tatonaha. The demigod said, the three worlds are created by the five elements, namely earth, air, fire, water, and earth, which are controlled by various demigods, beginning from Lord Brahma. Being very much afraid that the time factor will end our existence, we offer presentations unto time by performing our work as time dictates. The time factor himself, however, is afraid of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, let us now worship that Supreme Lord who alone can give us full protection. अविस्मितं तं परिपूर्णकामं स्वेनैव लाभेन समं प्रशान्तं विनोपसर्पति अपरं हि बालिशः स्वलाङ्गुलेनातिथिरार्थि सिन्धुम्. Free from all material conceptions of existence and never wonder struck by anything, the Lord is always jubilant and fully satisfied by his own spiritual perfection. He has no material designations and therefore he is steady and unattached. That supreme personality of Godhead is the only shelter of everyone. Anyone desiring to be protected by others is certainly a great fool who desires to cross the sea by holding the tail of a dog. यस्योरुशृङ्गे जगतीं स्वनावं मनुर्यथा बध्य ततारदुर्गं स एव न स्पष्ट भयात् दुरन्तात् त्राता श्रितान् वारिचरोऽपि नूनम्. the Manu named King Satyavrata formally saved himself by tying the small boat of the entire world to the horn of the Matsya Avatara, the fish incarnation. By the grace of Matsya Avatara, Manu saved himself from the great danger of flood. May that same fish incarnation save us from the great and fearful danger caused by the son of Tvashta. Pura swayambhur abhisamya mabhasi उदीर्ण वा तोर्मि रवै कराले एकोरविन्दात् पतितस्ततार तस्मात् भयाम् येन सनोस्तु पारः. In the beginning of creation, a tremendous wind caused fierce waves of inundating water. The great waves made such a horrible sound that Lord Brahma almost fell from his seat on the lotus into the water of devastation, but he was saved with the help of the Lord. Thus, we also expect the Lord to protect us from this dangerous condition. य एक ईशो निजमाययानः ससर्ज येनानुसृजम विश्वं वयं न यस्यापि पुरः समीहतः पश्यामलिङ्गं पृथक् ईशमानिनः. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, who created us by His external potency and by whose mercy we expand the creation of the universe, is always situated before us as a super soul, but we cannot see his form. We are unable to see him because all of us think that we are separate and independent gods. यो न सपत्नेर्भृश अर्त्यमानान् देवर्षितीर्यं ऋषु नित्य एव क्रा कृतावतारस्तनुभिः स्वमायया कृत्वामसात् पाति युगे युगे च तम एव देवं वयमात्मदे दैवतं परं प्रधानं पुरुषं विश्वमन्यं प्रजाम सर्वे शरणं शरण्यं स्वानां सनो दास्यति सं महात्मा. My, by his inconceivable internal potency, the Supreme Personality of Godhead expands into various transcendental bodies as Vamana Deva, the incarnation of strength among the demigods, Parashurama, the incarnation among saints, Nrisimha and Varaha, incarnation among animals, and Matsya and Kurma, incarnations among aquatics. He accepts various transcendental bodies among all types of living entities, and among human beings, he especially appeared as Lord Krishna and Lord Rama. By his causeless mercy, he protects the demigods who are always harassed by the demons. He is the supreme worshipable deity of all living entities. He is the supreme cause, represented as the male and female creative energies. Although different from this universe, he exists in his universal form, Virata Rupa. In our fearful condition, let us take shelter of him, for we are sure that the Supreme Lord, the Supreme Soul, will give us his protection. Shri Sukavacha iti tesham maharaja suranam upatishtatam pratichyam dishe abhudavihi shankha chakra gadadharaha. Sri Sukadeva Goswami said, My dear king, when all the demigods offered him their prayers, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Hari, carrying his carrying his weapons, the conch shell, disc, and club appeared first within their hearts and then before them. आत्मतुल्ये षोडशभिर्विना श्रीवत्सकौस्तुभौ पर्युपासितः उन्निद्रा शरद अम्बुरुहे क्षणं दृष्ट्वा तम् अवनौ सर्व ईक्षणाह्लाद विक्लवाः दंडवत् पतिता राजन् क्षणैर् उत्थाः तुष्टुः. Surrounding and serving the Supreme Personality of Godhead Narayana were 16 personal attendants, decorated with ornaments and appearing exactly like him, but without the mark of Srivatsa and Kaustuva jewel. O king, when all the demigods saw the Supreme Lord in that posture, smiling with eyes like the petals of lotuses grown in autumn, they were overwhelmed with happiness and immediately fell down like rods offering dandavats. Then they slowly rose and pleased the Lord by offering him prayers. Hare Krishna. So, this part, the first part of this chapter 9 from the sixth canto, is describing what happened after Vishwarupa became the priest of Devatas. What happened is this Vishwarupa who had three heads. Yeah, it said Tasyaham Vishwarupasya Siramsi Trini Bharata. He had three heads. Soma Pitam, Sura Pitam, Annadam iti Sushruma. Soma, he was drinking Somaras with one head, Sura, the liquor with the other one, or beverages, wine. And the third one, he was eating food. Hmm. So he was that, and while he was doing this, he was doing the yajna and he was offering the oblations to the devatas. Uh, when he was saying Indra idam swaha, ideally that should go to Indra. Yeah, and the whole purpose of yajnas is to strengthen the devatas. What we are doing is when we are performing yajna, we are taking wood, um, and then ghee, and then when we are doing this fire sacrifice, then we are inviting each of the demigods and offering, okay, the fruit of this yajna may go to you, and when you are satisfied, may you bless us. So that is that. So he was loudly chanting these mantras and offered each of the demigods his proper share. Sa eva hi dadau bhagam paroksham. Paroksham means he was, um, indirectly or hiding confidence. Asuran prati. Yajamano vahad bhagam matra sneha vasanuga. Why? Because it is said that he had this mother's side is from the demons. In the purports of this third one, it is said, because of Vishwarupa's affection for the families of both the demigods and the demons, he appeased the Supreme Lord on behalf of both dynasties. When he offered oblations in fire on behalf of Asuras, he did so secretly without knowledge of the demigods. But you know what? Hmm, Indra somehow could understand this. And then he just, in great anger, he chopped the three heads. He cut off the three heads. And thereafter, the head meant for drinking somaras was transformed into kapinjala. This is a one type of a bird. And then there is another which is Kalavinka, the sparrow. And then finally Tittiri. These are the three kinds of birds that this head has transformed into Brahmahatyam. So here we know we should understand that uh, Tvashta's son Vishwarupa is a Brahmana. So Indra has killed a Brahmana, which is called Brahmahatya. When one commits a Brahmahatya, it's very, very, very difficult to get freed from that. So, although Indra was so powerful that he could neutralize the sinful reactions of killing a Brahmana, he repentantly accepted the burden of these reactions with folded hands. So, in one way, we can say that okay, Indra has such a great capability that even Brahmahatya Pataka, yeah, or Pap that he has got, he could, if he want, neutralize that. But he repented what he has done and he accepted whatever is coming for 1 year. He suffered for 1 year and then, to purify himself, he distributed the reactions of this sinful killing among the earth, water, trees, and women. And this is what the partitioning is mentioned. Because deserts are manifestation of Earth's diseased condition, no auspicious ritualistic ceremony can be performed in a desert. Hmm? Persons destined to live in deserts are understood to be sharing the reactions for the sin of Brahmahatya, the killing of a Brahmana. So, in this way, question can be, what about those who are in the Middle East? Middle East, there are these places which are actually um, water bodies where on which artificial deserts are built. Um, and there are these deserts which are not conducive for what do you call? Hmm. auspicious ritualistic ceremonies. But Jaipur, yeah, Jaipur, we know that's in Rajasthan. In Rajasthan, but we can see there is Radha Govind Dev, there is Radha Gopinath, there is so when there was this Aurangzeb was attacking Vrindavan, these deities were very carefully brought to Jaipur. So we should understand, of course, yeah, persons destined to live in deserts are understood to be sharing the reactions for the sin of Brahmahatya. Yeah, but for devotees, there is no problem. Yeah. Devotee who is dedicated and serving the Lord, there is no problem. Turyam cheda virohena varena jaghru drumaha tesham niryasa rupena brahmahatya pradashyate. So anyway, and then the trees. Trees accepted one-fourth of the sinful reactions committed by Indra. Why? Because, and in return, Indra is giving blessings that their branches and twigs would grow back when trimmed. In fact, one who is a good gardener, he knows when to cut the 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 dry buds uh, or twigs where to cut so that it can make the plant or the tree bigger. Hmm. So, and then there is further about and then Indra is blessing women, yeah, so that they can enjoy sensual enjoyment, and in return, that they have to go through this monthly menstrual cycle. But women, as a class, are very lusty, and apparently their continuous lust desires are never satisfied. In return for Lord Indra's benediction, there would be no cessation in that desires. Women accepted one-fourth of the sinful reactions for killing a Brahmana. And then this goes further, and in return then there is this water, that water would increase the volume of other substances with which it was mixed. So if water is mixed, purpose says, if water is mixed with milk, fruit juice or other similar substances, it increases their volume, and no one can understand which has increased. In return for this benediction, water accepted one-fourth of the sin. These sinful reactions are visible in the foam and bubbles. Therefore, one should avoid foam and bubbles while collecting drinking water. Anyway, this is giving further about and then very important is this verse number 11. Hatah putras tatah svashta juhavendraya satrave indra satro Vivardhasva ma chiram jahi vidvasham. This is very, very important. Why? Because when one is not careful in what one is reciting, what one is pronouncing, it can lead completely opposite. After Vishwarupa was killed, his father Tvashta performed ritualistic ceremony to kill Indra. So he offered oblations into the fire, sacrificial fire, and is saying, O enemy of Indra, flourish to kill your enemy without delay. O enemy of Indra, yeah, means one whoever he is saying should be an enemy. Purport is saying there was some defect in Tvashta's chanting of the mantra because he chanted it long instead of short, and therefore the meaning changed. Tvashta intended to chant the word Indra Shatru, meaning O enemy of Indra. In this mantra, the word Indra is in the possessive case, Shashti, and the word Indra Satro is called as Tat Purusha. Anyway, this is grammatical. Unfortunately, instead of chanting the mantra short, Tvashta chanted it long, and its meaning changed from enemy of Indra to Indra, who is an enemy. Consequently, instead of an enemy of Indra's, there emerged the body of Vritrasura, of whom Indra was the enemy. Anyway, so, and then he expanded, then there is description how he expanded and how, and finally, That very fearful demon, who was actually the son of Vesta, covered all the planetary systems by dint of austerity. Because he is covering everything, that's the name, and that's why he's called Vritra. In the Vedas, it is said, Sa ima lokan avnot tad vritrasya vritrotvam. Because the demon covered all the planetary systems, his name was Vritrasura. And then all the devatas, they shot arrows and all weapons, but for Vritrasura, he just swallowed everything. And then everyone was struck in wonder what is happening, and then they started offering prayers to the Lord. And the prayers are very important for us. They give us an idea, the greatness of the Lord, and also an idea how to offer prayers to the Lord. Hmm. So here is saying, the time factor is making sure everything is happening, and but the time itself is servant of the Lord. Therefore, let us now worship that Supreme Lord who alone can give us full protection. And then avismitam tam paripurna kamam svenaiva labhena samam prasantam vinopasarapti aparam hi balishah swalangulena titirarthi sindhum. Anyone desired to be protected by others is certainly a great fool who desires to cross the sea by holding the tail of a dog. Uh, Swa Langulena to just cross, trying to cross the ocean. So, a dog can swim in the water, but if a dog dives in the ocean and someone wants to cross the ocean by holding the tail of the dog, he's certainly fool number one. A dog cannot cross the ocean, nor can a person cross the ocean by catching a dog's tail. When similarly, one who desires to cross the ocean of nescience should not seek the shelter of any demigod or anyone else but the fearless shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And from the 10th canto, there is nice shloka. Samasrita ye padapallava plavam mahat padam punya yasho murare bhavam vatsa padam param padam yat vipadam na tesham. The Lord's lotus feet are an indestructible boat, and if one takes shelter of that boat, he can easily cross the ocean of nescience. Consequently, there are no dangers for a devotee, although he lives within this material world, which is full of dangers at every step. One should seek the shelter of the all powerful instead of trying to be protected by one's own concocted ideas. यस्योरुशृङ्गे जगतीं स्वनावं मनुर्यथाबध्य तरात दुर्गं स एव न स्पष्टा भयादुरन्तात् त्रातासितान् वारिच्वरोऽपि नूनम्. He's giving examples how different incarnations of the Lord has protected. May Lord in this form or that form, in all these forms, please appear and save me, save me. This is what the demigods are praying. In another, he's saying, hmm, ya eka isha nijamaya nah sasarja yenanu srajama vishvam vayam na yasyapi purah samihatah pasyama lingam pratak isha maninah. The Supreme Personality of Godhead who created us by His external potency and by whose mercy we expand the creation of the universe is always situated before us in the form of Super Soul. But we cannot see His form. We are unable to see Him because all of us think that we are separate and independent gods. That is our problem. In the purport, Prabhupada refers, Srila Madhvacharya says, Lingam eva pasyamaha kadachit abhimanastu devanapi san iva praya kaleshu nasti eva taraya, taratamyena so apitu. We are all conditioned to various degrees, but we think that we are God. This is why we cannot understand who God is or see Him face to face. And then there is this shloka that says, the Lord has come in different forms as a incarnation, as aquatic in the form of Varaha Deva, Matsya, and in the form of Kurma. Yeah. Matsya and Kurma in the form of Nrsimha and Varaha in, incarnations among animals, Parashurama among saints, Vamana, uh, um, the incarnation of strength among the demigods. So in these various forms, Lord appeared, and especially in the among human beings, he especially appears as Lord Krishna and Lord Rama. He protects the demigods who are always harassed by the demons. He is the supreme worshipable deity of all living entities. He is the supreme cause, represented as male and female creative energy. Uh, so he appears as Virat. So all these, they are glorifying the appearances of the Lord. And then finally, Shukadeva Goswami is saying, my dear king, when all the demigods offered their prayers, the Lord appeared. In fact, how did he appear? Atma Tulya Shodashabhir Vina Srivatsa Kaustubhav. Ah, the Lord appeared and he is surrounded by 16 similar transcendental beings. They look similar to Lord Narayana. The only difference is they didn't have Srivatsa on the chest and Kaustuba jewel. Uh, so that's not there. No, so exactly like him they appeared, but they didn't have this. O king, when all the demigods saw the supreme lord in that posture, they fell flat like a rod on the floor and offered Dandavat. Then they slowly rose and pleased the Lord by offering him prayers. I think we stop here. Yeah, thank you. Hare Krishna. Yeah, so this way we inaugurate the pastime of Ritrasura. So now we know who is Vritrasura, and we will also try to understand more about his glories. Then we come to Chitraketu pastime. All these things we have recently covered, but there is no harm to go through that again to appreciate the greatness of. Yeah, we usually appreciate the greatness of Devatas. Here, Vritrasura was not a Devata, he was a demon, but he had such a unique, uh, un unexpected, yeah, unexpectedly such a great qualities, and this is what we will read the next days. If you know someone who is interested to hear Bhagavatam, and I think yeah, they can join. Now a new pastime is starting. And thank you very much. Have a nice evening. पंचकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। वृंदराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, निताय गौर प्रेमानंद। हरे कृष्ण।